Now, I think I speak for all of us when I say I am just glad that the Denver Nuggets are on the other side of the win-loss column. Y'all, I don't think the Denver Nuggets have won a basketball game since March 3rd, like a real game. I'm not talking about that Raptors win when they had to sneak out a win, Scotty Barnes, Scott Foster, all that jazz. When's the last time they just straight up won a basketball game? Memphis. And I think that game was on March 3rd. So literally, the Denver Nuggets have gone roughly 13 days without a legitimate win. And they fought for that Raptors win. But again, there was a lot of stuff, a lot of the bad habits that you started to see over the last week or so, last week and a half. They really started creeping up heavy in that Raptors game. And here we go. Finally got a win. And again, a lot of this, as what I'm looking with the Nuggets, a lot of what I'm seeing with them is that some of their defensive issues and stuff are still there 1,000%. But on the other side of this, they hadn't closed the game. They hadn't played well. They hadn't been able to execute down the stretch. None of that was there at all for any of the games that they've lost previously, and including, again, a lot of that for the Toronto Raptors game in Denver. But the Denver Nuggets were able to get back to 500 on the road. They beat the Detroit Pistons, again, one of the worst teams in basketball, trying to lose. All that is fair. But the important thing is they got that monkey off their back, and now they got a couple of great opportunities to really solidify on the road. Because guess what? The Denver Nuggets, they got to play against the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets in a back-to-back this weekend. And we're going to find out an awful lot about the Denver Nuggets, what they believe about their identity, what they believe about their team, what they believe about themselves, and also, are they ready to really get out of that rut that they've been in? So before everything else, you always want to measure yourself against quality competition. Was this a quality competitive team tonight? Yeah, they played hard, but no, because you know who the best and the best are, and you're one of the best of the best. I think the Nuggets were one of the 4 best teams in the NBA before this losing streak. You could argue they was the best right up there, them in Milwaukee. But what this comes down to is that the Nuggets were able to take care of business today. They were able to get a win today. And you saw Jokic come out with a great performance. Jamal Murray had a bounce-back game. Michael Porter Jr. was up and down, but he ended up closing the game well. Christian Braun got heavy minutes today. And you got a chance to see Aaron Gordon, KCP, a bunch of players that you were looking to see. Can they step up to the competition? And they did. And the competition is themselves. I think a lot of people, they get misconstrued, even in my position, on the Denver Nuggets. They are competing with themselves. They're competing with their best. They're competing with their habits. They're competing with their structure. And if you don't take care of a business on your end, you're not going to win the game. So even if I go back to some of their key losses they've had, the Spurs, all that stuff with those teams they were playing, Chicago Bulls, that was on them. They should have done better. They should have committed to playing defense better. But go back even to the game versus the Philadelphia 76ers. You're up 15. You go on a 0-12 run in the third quarter because of turnovers and bad shot selection and fouls that didn't need to happen. You look at some of the other games that they've lost against good teams. They've been very few and far between. I believe they're 18 and 9 versus above 500 teams this year, which is the lowest amount of losses. And they have the best net rating versus those teams as well. So for sure, you definitely have things you want to see them do better. No doubt about it. But the most important thing is, again, you got the victory. End of the day, that's what matters. Tonight, Nikola Jokic, 34 minutes, had 30 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 14 of 18 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3 with a heave at the half court. I think that was to end the first quarter. And then he was 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 1 block, 1 steal, just 1 turnover. He was a plus 13 tonight. Jokic did exactly what he was supposed to do. He took advantage of a matchup that he could eat. James Wiseman and Jalen Duren, I think they're going to be a nice pairing. They played really well today. relative to the age and what you can expect from them at this point in time in their careers. And again, the fact that James Wiseman was traded the way that he was. James Wiseman tonight had 14 and 9 on 7 of 14, minus 13. Played well today. And then they played Jalen Duren 15, 13, and 4. He was a minus 9. But again, they played really quality minutes, and especially versus the bench as well. So, really good shout out to them, man. I think that Detroit has a lot of potential, man. They're going to have Cade Cunningham. You're going to have an opportunity to grow Jalen Duren. You're going to have an opportunity to grow with Jaden Ivey. You're going to have an opportunity to grow if you want with James Wiseman. And then you got your Killian Hayes and all that stuff. So they really do have some real potential over there. So I really like their core. If they can get Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson or Nick Smith or one of these guys, they're going to have a really solid young core right up there, maybe with their Orlando Magic. So big shout out to them. Maybe not as good as the OKC Thunder, but I think they're going to have a really, really good future, man. So shout out to the Detroit Pistons, man. Really impressed with how they play. Obviously, Dwayne Casey, Coach of the Year. One of my favorite coaches in the NBA. Great reputation as well. So shout out to them for sure. Yeah, man. But the Denver Nuggets, they had a really up and down game. Jokic was playing very good today. 30, 10, and 9. He played those 34 minutes, being a plus 13. The first half, it was kind of all over the place a little bit. The Denver Nuggets weren't committing to playing defense the right way. The score at halftime today, it was 64-58. It was 64-58. The Denver Nuggets gave up in the second half 36 points. Now, some of this was because of shot luck for the Pistons, no doubt. But the Denver Nuggets locked in. They gave up 36 points in the second half. And then they ended up scoring, I think it's 61 points in the second half themselves. So 64-38. The Denver Nuggets ended today's game with a 33-9 run to close the game. A 33-9 run to close the game. And, Jokic was all over the place. He was 14 of 18 from 2, which is 77.7%, I believe, from the 2-point range. He was eating everybody alive, Wiseman, Duren. And again, these are players that I think at some point in time, when they get older, they're going to be really good defenders. But they're just really young. You got a second year and a first year player. And he was able to take advantage of those matchups. Now, Jokic legitimately could have scored 40, if he really gave a serious effort, like a really serious effort. But he was trying to make at a high level. He had 9 assists today, had 10 rebounds. So it was one of Jokic's, I'll say B games. It wasn't a lot of effort. But this is better effort than I've seen, I think, from Jokic in some of these other games as well. It's not to say he hasn't played well. Matter of fact, let me check this. Last 5 games. Nikola Jokic in his last 5 games is averaging 29.6 points per game, 12.2 rebounds a game, 9.2 assists a game. He's shooting 63% from the field, 39% from 3, only 74% of the line, though. He's a +3 now in the last 5 games. So, again, this is with their 1-4 record. So, you're getting 30, 12, and 9 from Jokic. 30, 12, and 9 from Jokic. And this is right after people said that he wasn't scoring enough for them. So we got a super chat. Shout out to the super chat from Chief Otto. Super chat says, should we be worried about MVP or the Joke got it? Embiid is taking over as the betting favorite. But I told y'all this multiple times. I don't care about that stuff. I said this 2 years ago. I said this last year. That doesn't really mean anything. All that means is where are the bettors putting their money based on what they're hearing. So what I would say is that where they're at right now, I do think that Jokic has to win these games to close out this argument for the MVP because it's going to be really close coming up with Giannis, coming up with Embiid. But again, you're averaging a triple-double with the number 1 seed. They're 47 and 23 now. Are they 47 and 23 now? Wow. So, that gives you 60 games. You got 12 more games. Man, if you could close that out 8-4, 10-2, 9-3, you're really going to create even more distance because you're going to have this crazy argument. If you can beat Embiid at home, you can beat Giannis at home, and then you can take care of the Kings, you can take care of the Warriors, you can take care of Phoenix. You got some real opportunities that are in front of you. And let me see, the rest of the schedule is, by the way, all this relates to the MVP question. The Nuggets play the Knicks, the Nets, the Wizards, the Bucks, the 76ers, the Pelicans with no Zion, more than likely. The Suns, maybe with no KD, maybe with KD. The Warriors, they need to win in Denver. The Rockets, tanking. The Suns, they want to win. The Jazz, they're probably going to be cascading by that point. And then you close out the season with the Kings to April 9th. So you got about basically like 3 weeks, roughly 3 weeks to close out this season really strong. And so if this is going to happen, they need to close these last 3 weeks off really well. So to answer your question, I don't think you should be worried about it. He's still a favorite. Look at B-ball reference gives you the kind of the probability. He's still like a 58% probability above everybody else. So we'll have to see from that. So we'll see. We got another super chat. This one from Dirk Jones. Christian Braun is the 6th best player on the team. I'm not going to lie to you. I was doing this in my head today. I was asking myself, where would I rank Christian Braun on this roster? And I genuinely think, especially with how he played today and has played as of late, I think you could make an argument that Christian Braun will be your 7th best player in a playoff rotation. 7th, which is big because you're going to be able to trust your Jeff and your Blacko and at times Thomas. But if you're telling me that your rookie is going to be potentially your 7th best player, that's big on him. And that also shows you like how important that positioning is and how important that selection that Calvin Booth had is. Right now, it's Jokic, Murray, Porter, AG. I think they're equally as important as each other. Jokic, Murray, Porter, AG, KCP, Bruce, Christian. That's like your guaranteed playoff 7. Guaranteed you have to play well, playoff 7. And then outside that 7, you decide between your Reggie Jackson, Jeff Green, Thomas Bryant, Blacko Chanchar. Those are your other 4. What can you get from these 4 other guys? These are your 7. Those are your other 4. So that's how I'm thinking about the conversation about Christian Braun right now. I think he is that good. But I think that also goes to show where this team needs the most help at, and that's defensively on the perimeter as well, and then just what he brings to the table across the board. So that's a really good question. But again, Jokic 30, 10, and 9 tonight. Crazy touch around the rim. And then we had Jamal Murray had 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists on 7 of 15 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 4 turnovers, 2 to plus 21 tonight. Really, really good bounce back game from him. His playmaking has actually been very good this season. Like, very good playmaking from Jamal Murray this year. He's averaging 24 and 6. He's 56% true shooting. Hasn't been playing well the last 5 games at all. But it's good to see him bounce back. It really is. It's good to see him bounce back today because the Nuggets needed that. He was getting to the rim at times, hit a couple floaters. He started off the game a little sloppy. Defensively, he was not locked in. He gave up, on a switch, gave up a 3 to Jaden Ivey on a switch, got lost on Rodney McGrew. Like, there were just things that he was doing where I was just like, man, bro, like some of the smoothness and your decision-making and the rotations, your X-outs, they just weren't playing as well as you want them to, and the execution wasn't as high. Like I said, that was the first half. The second half, it was a different story. So, again, good game from Jamal Murray. Aaron Gordon tonight had 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist on 6 of 9 shooting, 0 of 1 from 3, 3 of 6 from the free throw line. He was a +8. Got lost on defense in the first half as well, but had a bounce back in the second. 29 minutes from him and 39 minutes from Murray. 40 minutes last game, 39 minutes this last game. Yeah, that's just a lot, man. They're gonna have to figure that. They're gonna have to figure that out. A lot riding on Jamal. And then Michael Porter Jr. 28 minutes tonight, 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists on 6 of 14 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. 3 blocks though from Porter. He was a +5. Ended the game really well. Wasn't shot making at a high level today. One of those games where Porter just didn't seem to have it. The balls were coming up in the first half. And so I didn't know if that was – I don't know if that was a fatigue thing. I don't think it was fatigue. I think it was just – maybe it was the arena. It was just the day. but the threes were short today. So 1 of 6 definitely felt that. Contavious Caldwell-Pope tonight, 30 minutes, 20 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 7 of 15 from the field, 4 of 7 from 3, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, 3 steals for KCP and a plus 16. Jamal was a game high, plus 21, and then KCP was second with a plus 16. Excellent minutes, excellent defense from Contavious Caldwell-Pope tonight. Held them in check on perimeter. Jaden Ivey, 14 points on 4 of 15. Killian Hayes, 10 points on 5 of 12. Did a really good job. Like a really good job on them. Off the bench, Bruce Braun, 26 minutes, 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists as the point guard position, which at this point I'd rather have over Reggie Jackson, even though it comes with some headaches at times. But defensively, I just don't want any more caps. 2 of 7 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 blocks and 3 steals from Bruce Braun, plus 9. You get a plus 9 from your bench, you're going to probably win the game. Christian Braun, 20 minutes tonight, 9, 3 rebounds, 0 assists, 3 of 6 from the field, but 3 incredible rebounds, by the way, like contested rebounds. 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 2 from the free throw line with 1 block, like a really good block that led to a fast break. And then a plus 9 from him. And then Jeff Green tonight, 18 minutes, 3 points. Jeff Knight, 18 minutes, 3 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. 3 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. So really good game. Really, really freaking good game from all 3 of them. A plus 9, plus 9, plus 14. And then Thomas Bryant, 13 minutes, 3 rebounds, 3 points and 4 rebounds, 1 of 3. He was a plus 3 tonight. Still looking for his identity. Still looking for what his calling card is going to be with the bench. But here's your bench right now. Bruce Braun, Christian Braun, Jeff Green, Thomas Bryant. That might be about what they need, to be honest with you. And then Flacco saw a minute today, had a rebound, and then Ish Smith. So on today, the Denver Nuggets shot 53% from the field on 47 to 89, 33% from 3, only 68% from the line on 17 to 25. The Detroit Pistons shot 46% from the field on 39 of 85, 44% from 3 on 12 of 27. They stayed in the game because of that. And then they had 56% from the field from free throw for 10 of 18. The Nuggets only had 9 turnovers to Detroit's 17. The Nuggets had 29 assists to the Detroit's 24. I think Detroit had 16 assists in the first half, only 8 in the second. 47 rebounds and 13 offensive rebounds for the Nuggets. 37 rebounds and 13 offensive rebounds for the Pistons. Again, the Pistons had 20 second chance points in the first half. They shut that down in the second. 7 blocks to the Pistons, 3. 9 steals to the Pistons, 8. 15 personal fouls to the Pistons, 20. And 1 technical for the Pistons. So across the board, they took care of business. They did their job. You got to win. That's what's important. The Nuggets are now sitting at 47 and 23 with a 5-game lead over the first seed. A 5-game lead over the first seed. 47 and 23. Again, dropped 4 games, y'all. They could have been chasing the Milwaukee Bucks for the best record. So that was just a really weird slide from them. They got the New York Knicks on Saturday, and then right after, 1 o'clock Eastern, New York Knicks on Saturday, and I think 3:30 Eastern, the Brooklyn Nets in Brooklyn. Really important 2-game stretch, and they need to go in there and try to win those games. They really do. I think they do. So again, good game for the Denver Nuggets today. Way to make a statement. Way to make a statement. 1 by 19 points. Learning how to play winning basketball. Right back and we're right back on the way. Everything's right in front of you. I'll see y'all soon. Swipa game. We are out.